In the 1920s, shipyards stood as giant symbols of ambition and progress. These were places where massive steel ships were born, structures so huge that they dominated entire coastlines. Workers moved in a loud, constant rhythm, surrounded by sparks, steam, and heavy machinery. To the outside world, it looked like innovation at its peak. But beneath that impressive surface, a dangerous reality was silently taking shape. At that time, industrial safety was still in its early stages. There were almost no standardized protocols, and every shipyard relied on its own traditions. Protective gear was basic at best: thin gloves, simple helmets, and no real respiratory protection. Most workers were trained by watching others, not through official safety programs. Speed and output were valued far more than caution, and delaying work for safety checks was considered unnecessary. The materials used made the environment even more hazardous. Steel plates weighing hundreds of kilos were lifted overhead by early cranes that often malfunctioned. Rivets were fired with tools that produced extreme force, and a single misfire could injure anyone nearby. Welding was becoming more common, but the fumes created in tight spaces were poorly understood and rarely managed. And then there was asbestos, used everywhere for insulation, cheap, effective, and invisible in its danger. Workers handled it daily without masks, unaware that each breath carried long-term harm. As the workload increased, accidents became part of the routine. Scaffolding that wasn't properly secured collapsed without warning. Steel beams slipped from weak chains. Fires started inside unventilated compartments. And when something went wrong, it was usually blamed on bad luck. Reporting accidents wasn't required, and many shipyards preferred to keep incidents quiet to avoid delays or costs. Workers were expected to endure the risks because they had families to feed and limited options. But over time, the growing pattern of injuries and deaths could no longer be ignored. Workers began to talk, to organize, and to demand the rights they deserved. Early unions fought for safer conditions, proper training, protective equipment, regulated working hours, and accountability for negligence. These movements were not quick or easy. Many workers faced punishment or job loss simply for speaking up. Yet slowly, their voices formed a powerful force that changed the course of industrial history. Their efforts led to some of the first real safety reforms. Regular inspections became mandatory. Equipment standards improved. Hazard reporting systems were created so accidents couldn't be hidden anymore. Workers gained the right to refuse dangerous tasks without fear of losing their jobs. These changes didn't just reshape shipyards. They reshaped every major industry. The tragedies of the 1920s shipyards were not isolated incidents. They were the turning points that forced society to rethink how workers should be treated. Every regulation we follow today, every safety drill, every warning label, and every protective tool is built on the experiences of those who worked before these rules existed. In the end, the story of these shipyard disasters isn't just about what went wrong. It's about how those failures pushed the world toward better standards. And it serves as a reminder that progress must never come at the cost of human lives, and that the lessons of the past are what keep today's workers safe.